What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. My name is Sam. I'm here with the usual suspects, Gab and Maui. Say hi.
Hello, hello.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Happy
Okay.
New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. So we're doing a New Year week episode. There's no rest for us. Still gonna make content for everyone, for the subscribers, for the 300, ano na ba, 60 subscribers. Um, Today, we're still going to talk about the UAAP. We're still going to talk about season 85, but we're going to talk about breaking news first. So, last time we talked about yung stepping down, sorry, not firing, but stepping down of Coach Olsen Racela from the FEU Tamaraws. Today, we have hindi naman siya breaking news ulit. I think it was the article first came out a few days ago. We're hearing that LaSalle will not be renewing Coach Derrick Pumaren for the following season. So I think his contract is only until December 31. According to the news or to some articles, LaSalle will not be renewing Coach Derrick Pumaren, which means tama yung prediction natin last episode. And we said likely to be booted out next. We all said Coach Derrick Pumaren because LaSalle underperformed. And it looks like it's happening based on what we're reading or what we're seeing so far. Although there's no official announcement yet from the LaSalle community or LaSalle officials. So I want to hear what you guys think. Let's start with Gab this time. Gab,
Dapat
are you
lang.
surprised?
No,
Obviously, hindi
dapat
ka
lang.
surprised. Okay, bakit?
It- it- Pare, he had, I would say, the second most talented roster in the whole of season 85.
Mhm.
Next to
We took them
UP,
to
I think
win.
LaSalle had I don't know.
We picked them to win in our
Yeah, we picked them to
early
win.
season
I mean,
prediction.
next to UP, they had the next most talented roster among all of the schools, all of the teams in season 85. Not even Ateneo had such a talented roster as LaSalle. I think that's pretty obvious kahit na nag-champion ng Ateneo. LaSalle was deeper. They had more talent, more even their bench, some of their bench players you could start for other teams. You can't say that for Ateneo. Their bench was really bad. So the fact na ganun yung case, second most talented roster, and not even making the Final Four, I think it deserves the firing or not renewing of Derrick Pumaren. Na kahit na sabihin mo, yes, there were injuries, may suspension, COVID, whatever. They had enough talent. Kahit yung mga bench guys nila uh, could start, you could make plays. Si Penny Estacio, yung kahit si Shani Winston was not present for most of the second round, I think Penny Estacio played great off the bench. EJ Abadam, they had two
Raven
centers, si
Cortez.
Bright Noanco and Mike Phillips. Even Raven Cortez, who I think is even better than Bright Noanco. But the real problem is the decisions made by Derrick Pumaren. Kahit sabihin mo sobrang talented nila, there were a lot of questionable decisions made by Derrick Pumaren. I think I've always talked about it since first round. Why is he playing Joaquin Manuel over his other younger players, over his other better wing players? It was obvious. It took him 1.5 rounds to realize na he doesn't play Joaquin Manuel. Who knew? 1.5 rounds. Ilan yun? 11 games yung bago mo na-realize na, oh, I can actually play si Abadam, si Austria, and si Makalalag minutes over Joaquin Manuel. Who knew? Oh, you weren't watching Boleros, Derrick Pumaren. So yun. And just ang sloppy ng offense nila. Even their defense at times, which is the calling card dapat ng isang Pumaren was lacking at times. Pero yung offense talaga nila was the problem. they couldn't generate enough consistent offense uh, from most of their key guys. Essentially, actually, si Evan Nelly lang yung pinaka-consistent throughout the season. And Shawnee when he was still playing in the first round. So, yeah, I totally agree with this. And I hope they get a coach na can make use of their talent better. Maui, katingin mo dito.
I think warranted. I agree with Gab. I think warranted yung axing ni Derrick Pumaren. Coming from season 84, they really overperformed. They almost beat UP. They actually should have beaten UP.
They should have beaten UP.
They should
Yeah,
have beaten
tama.
UP nung season 84. But they played poorly nung end game nung game 3. And I think more of a springboard supposedly dapat yung season 84 end nila. They challenged the eventual champions UP to three to 2 games nung Final Four. Everyone was hyped about LaSalle. Both Gab and Sam picked them as their off-season champion. I was hyped also with LaSalle. I think most of the people, the analysts, the alumni, are calling LaSalle as one of the team to beat. Even si Evan Nelly and si Shawnee Winston said that they were the team to beat no off-season. And I think it was warranted given their performance ng season 84. And their lineup was intact. You gotta look at that perspective. They were the number 3 team nung season 84. They almost beat UP. Tapos intact lineup, intact coaching staff, a full off-season of training. But eventually, yung season 85 nila was really roller coaster. You could argue na it's because of the injuries and suspensions and COVID. But you saw naman LaSalle when they were playing nung undermanned sila, they were still competing with other teams. But they were blowing games that they should have won. And I think, yeah, it's warranted that LaSalle is really probably gonna axe Derrick Pumaren. It's just, I mentioned to you guys before we went on the podcast, it's weird na si Kinito Henson, one of the top alumni you would think of sa LaSalle, yung statements niya on Twitter, parang it says nothing is still set in stone. So parang hindi pa sure kung talagang axe ba si Coach Derrick. But the drama on the LaSalle end of things is still not ending. After the Shawnee Winston incident, ngayon naman yung Derrick Pumaren incident, it's really weird what's happening in LaSalle. And it speaks volume of yung management talaga nila. If Derrick Pumaren is indeed fired, this should probably be their 8th. If they're gonna hire a new coach, this is gonna be their 8th coach since 2010. Imagine 11 or 12 seasons and 8 coaches. Para silang, to be honest, para silang New York Knicks ng NBA. Walang stability.
That's mean, bro. That's mean.
Damn.
Well,
even for me, that's mean.
Outside of Ben Embala seasons and yung Ben Embala seasons, LaSalle really underperformed ng 2010s. And I think malaking
they won a championship under Juno Soler. So
yung 2013 I think 2013. So 2 championships and probably 9 or 10 seasons na really sort of underperformed. But 8 coaches, man, in 11 seasons. That's how can you build a culture? I mean, if you look at Ateneo, parang si Tab Baldwin has been, it's 6 straight finals, 6 seasons na siya. Other teams are starting to realize na important talaga yung culture. I think UP is the main blueprint that LaSalle has to follow. They have to build a culture. They have to, and I think yung article sa Tiebreaker Times mentioned that they're looking for a young coach right now. So what do you think about that, guys?
Yeah, so I think pretty much you covered everything about Derrick Pumaren. Tama ka, Mau, no? I think there was also an article that says na Derrick Pumaren says na wala pang news about it from LaSalle. Like, they haven't told him anything. So That's the weird part about it. But let's go to that. No, so what Maui was referring to was an article by Tiebreaker Times, by Justin Valencia. Shout out to Justin Valencia. So he ended the article with this. Multiple sources confirm that the school is looking to tap a young and brilliant local coach to steer the Green Archers to a better tomorrow. So, let's talk about that. Let's speculate. Sino ba tong young and brilliant local coach? Sino sa
Wait lang,
tingin
Sam,
nyo?
Sam.
Go, go,
Wait
go.
lang. Before we go to the LaSalle coach, I do want to issue an apology to uh, Pipo Nondu, because in our previous episode, we were calling him Papi Nondu. His name is actually Pipo. So
People.
before
Okay, okay.
his name is Pipo Nondu, not Papi Nondu. So okay. So let's
So,
go ahead.
correction,
Just wanted to,
correction. So, si
just wanted to get
Pipo
that out of the way.
Noondu yung
Sorry to Coach
isang
Pipo Nondu.
candidate for FEU. Now let's talk about
Yeah,
the
FEU.
potential candidates for LaSalle. So sabi, young and brilliant local coach. So I know when we were talking about this, we were speculating. We read somewhere, I think it was a spin article if I'm not mistaken, na sino yung Serbian coach
Si
na
Nenad.
kaibigan ni Tab.
Nenad.
Si Nenad,
I
yeah.
think he's with
So we were
Meralco now.
Yes,
Well, I think
correct.
he's
So
going
he's with
back to
Meralco, pero there was an article that mentioned that he could be one of the candidates for the next coaching job for LaSalle. But in this article, which is more updated, more recent, ang sabi naman dito, um, it's a young and brilliant local coach. So that sort of takes out Nenad from the picture. And since he's with Meralco, most probably hindi nga siya. So let's go to you, Maui. Let's go to you first. Sino sa tingin mo ang most probably na hinahanap nilang coach? Pick one. Just give us one. So, para Gab can give us another.
Actually, if you talk about young coaches na talagang promising and talagang nasa news, hyped up ngayon, I think it's gonna be CSB coach Charles Chu. I don't know if he would consider coaching LaSalle, but he really did a
Wow.
masterful job sa both him. Actually, sorry Sam, you said one, pero I'm gonna go on a limb and pick two. Both who did a masterful job with turning around CSB. Si T.Y. Tang was actually was the centerpiece, was the one that really catapulted yung CSB to change the system sa CSB. And fortunately, si Charles Chu yung nag-take over dun sa ginawa ni T.Y. Tang. So I think these two guys are names to look at. I don't know if CSB will allow Charles Chu to be the coach of LaSalle, but if I'm looking at a young local coach that's been really under the radar and finally has been showcased this season, si Charles Chu talaga yung big name na tingin ko pwede sa LaSalle.
Okay, very interesting, no? Kasi obviously Charles Chu is the brother of Chris Chu. Atenean used to cheer for...
Would LaSalle want that? An Atenean head coach?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yun
goodness
nga. Eh.
sake.
Well, teka, technically, CSB is LaSalle, diba? So, parang it's like he's already there, no? So, to be fair. Pero, tama ka, Gab. Imagine that backstory na they hire an Atenean to coach the LaSalle team. The LaSalle men's basketball team. Good call out then on T.Y. Tang, Maui. One of the high IQ point guards of LaSalle. Obviously, like a LaSalle graduate. And sabi mo nga, he was the one who started that new culture in Benilde, CSB. So I think those are two good picks. Gab, meron ka bang naiisip na young and brilliant coach?
They just have to look to their neighbors sa women's basketball. Si Cholo Villanueva, I think, is a good candidate. He's already there. I think he's the program director for Green Hills, if I'm not mistaken. Tama ba?
Yeah. I was gonna say, di ba parang sports director or something na siya? Tapos, coach pa siya ng women's.
Yeah, so yun. I think that's a pretty another choice that they could go with. LaSalle likes picking former players or alumni. Although the Charles Chu one, medyo interesting yun. Talaga, picking an Atenean to coach their team. Wow. Ako,
Next level.
Paano si
kung
Christian
yun,
nag-games?
sobrang interested na ako sa LaSalle next
Oo nga
season
eh.
kung si Charles Chu maging coach nila. But yeah, si Cholo Villanueva, I think would be a logical pick. He's there already. He's a former player, a champion player. Nag-finals ang women's basketball team, so he's found success there. So
they beat NU.
they
NU women,
beat
that was a
NU
big milestone.
to snap the streak of NU. So Cholo Villanueva, I think, would be a pretty logical choice for them.
And Cholo Villanueva is a diehard Lasalista. I think when sa women's team, I read like a quote from him after they beat the Ateneo women's team. Parang sabi niya, sa panahon ko, never kami nagpapatalo sa Ateneo. So, parang, it should never
Diehard.
happen. Ganon. And I feel like that's something that you want from like a coach, diba? Na yung talagang, yung will and yung determination, yung stubbornness. Parang it's also like a great way to, I guess, like jump start yung culture in LaSalle, no? Medyo old. Sabi niya, I don't know about you, but I'm an old head. So medyo old head view siya. But I think it's good for the community din, yung ganong pagka-diehard din niya. And, I don't know if you mentioned Gab, pero he's helping the Bay Area Dragons now, 'di ba?
Assistant coach din siya.
Sa PBA, parang assistant coach / parang he scouts the other teams. So I think like with everything he's doing, it just goes to show na he's really like this talented basketball savant. Despite being relatively young, diba? Kasi people really trust him. I think sa Bay Area Dragons, like the players and the coaching staff were calling him the real MVP. Kasi siya talaga yung the guy scouting the other teams and then telling them yung tendencies, how to defend like certain teams, etc. So honestly, like I feel like Cholo Villanueva for me is the top choice. Although Maui, di ba, in the tweet that you mentioned, yun yung sinabi ni Kinito Henson, sabi niya, if those people who are saying si Cholo Villanueva na yung next coach, parang you guys are ano ba yung sabi niya, basta spitting out fake news or whatever. So he actually mentioned Cholo Villanueva and denied that. So I guess we'll find out, no? If to be honest, for me, if you think about like the top choice, it would be Cholo Villanueva. But you know, maganda yung nasabi mo, Mao, talaga. Maganda talaga. Charles
Malay
Chu.
mo.
Wow.
Malay mo, si
Malay
Ren
mo.
bigla.
Interesting.
Out of nowhere.
Yun yung...
Pwede rin. Ren.
Sino?
Si Ren
Si Ren.
Pwede
Ren
rin.
is the coach of LaSalle Green Hills right now. So
Green Hills, di ba?
kakalagay lang sa kanya eh. So I don't know if he's in contention.
Okay.
You
So there
know
you
what's
have it.
interesting? You
Go.
know what's interesting with this search for a new coach, and if Derrick Pumaren is truly out, LaSalle will be kind of a wild card next season, no? I mean, they're extremely talented, pero hindi sila
Young
nag-final
team.
for this season. So, alam mong underwhelming sa this season. Pero, diba, yung for next season, alam mo nang probably yung top 3 are gonna be Ateneo, UP, and NU. I think clear naman yun sa atin. We'll talk about yung mga graduating seniors later, but Ateneo looks like they're still gonna be pretty solid despite losing a lot of key guys. UP still intact, NU still intact. Then you look at probably Adamson or UE. But LaSalle ang wild card, pare. Sobrang talented nila. If they can get a good coach, they could knock out yung one of those top 3 from twice to beat contention, di ba? And also, you know, we all saw them. It's the same lineup. If they still play like shit, they could be at the bottom of the standing. Sobrang wild card sila. You don't know what to expect from them next season talaga. Diba? Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. So, I guess just to end, siguro we'll find out soon kung talaga bang si Coach Derrick Pumaren pa rin ang magiging coach nila or hindi. According to the articles, his contract is only until December 31. So maybe by next week, we'll find out. But we gave you 4 names. Comment down below if you have other suggestions or who you feel is most probably going to be the coach for LaSalle. Is it Cholo Villanueva? Is it Charles Chu? Is it T.Y. Tang, Ren Netualo, or another person? Let us know. Comment down below.